Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome to another week, another episode of What the Fuck Just Happened. This is episode 24, and we're looking to get started right now. Watching the Wizards battle the Golden State Warriors, and the score is 44 all, with about 5 minutes left in the second quarter. So I'm sure that's going to be an interesting fight the rest of the way. The Wizards are looking to sweep Golden State for the first time in Lord knows how many years it's been since they really swept a major team. So let me take the time out to give a shout out to Bills, who had a song of his, a kind of like a spoof song, played on Jim Cornette's Drive Through podcast. If you go all the way towards the end, well, tell you the truth, might as well watch the whole episode of Jim Cornette's Drive Through. It's episode 188. Hopefully, I'm saying the right episode number, 188. So, Bills is the very last song that's played, but the whole episode is interesting, and I definitely urge you guys to check it out. So, we're about to get started here, and let's get to it. All right, so here we are. So it was I was trying something, just thought I'd try something on the spot as far as the intro was concerned. For those who are viewing this live, and just to give everybody info for those that are just listening whenever you get this on Spotify or SoundCloud. This is another week, another episode of What the Fuck Just Happened. So hello to everybody. Hopefully everybody's had a good week so far, and I definitely am looking forward to this episode in particular because we had some major shit just pop off. Basically, as of yesterday, the verdict for the Derek Chauvin case, the case where Derek Chauvin is the Minnesota police officer whose knee rested or crushed the throat of George Floyd for about 8 minutes and 40 some seconds. So the verdict came in, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But let's see. So we see Bills is already here. He says batting on Hall of Fame is some bullshit. I just got through a full game. What he's referencing is MLB The Show 21 that just came out for regular users yesterday, and for Jackie Robinson buyers who bought it at a higher price, that came out on Friday. And Bills and I, we've been having talks back and forth about the difficulty as far as batting, the difficulty as far as pitching, the pitching mechanic being what it is. Actually, I have a story about the pitching mechanic using Patrick Corbin. And oh boy, it was nice using it with Max Scherzer and Steven Strasburg, but Patrick Corbin's a bit finicky. And I found that out the hard way. I was playing against the Orioles. I lost the game 4-0, in which I gave up a 2-run shot in the first inning, gave up another run on a sac fly, and proceeded to give up another home run. I didn't strike out anybody. I gave up 2 walks. And hey, what's up, Young Noble? He says, "What up, bro?" So he, thank you for coming through. And and offensively, I have to learn patience. And Bills, you are correct. I need to change the speed perception because the way I react to things is more real time, and I need the speed to compensate for that. So I have the speed perception because my timing is always early. It's early. So whenever I swing at a changeup, I'm way off. Like everything is everything is just too slow, and especially with me being a former baseball player. I'm expecting as soon as the ball appears out of the pitcher's hand on his release, it's going to be right by me if I don't react in within a second or so. But in the video game on default, it's about 2 to 3 seconds that you kind of have to react to it. And I need that instant reaction. That's just the way I am as a natural ball player. So I definitely need to work on that. So let's take care of some admin real quick. And for those that are tuning in on the YouTube side, let me see. Oh boy. Okay, so Young Noble is asking, so you were striking out in real life too, huh? This nigga, really? All right. So I tell you what, when striking out with your moms, psych, I'm just kidding. If that was bad taste, you can shoot me now, but you know, all I know is that yeah. But to put a real life spin on it, when I played, I hated changeups. So, and yes, I did strike out in real life, but I just wanted to throw that shot in because if those of you are not familiar with Young Noble, I have to always do this whenever he shows up. Young Noble is named after a team in a video game called Halo. And in Halo, the team was called Noble Team. This was Halo Reach, and that whole team was wiped out one by one. So he is unfortunately named after that squad that got wiped out in Halo Reach. So I always have to let him know that he was named after a squad that got wiped out in Halo Reach. So, all right, so let's take care of some admin. Damn, really? We got smoke in the chat already? Bills is like Young Noble is a young ho. Wow, I didn't know he was Asian. Oh, I'm not trying to get them. Well, I'm not getting paid for this shit anyway, unless y'all donate. But anyway, so let me get to these admins real quick because I'll be all day messing with you guys. So those on the YouTube side, let me go back and hide that. We'll get to the smoke later. For those that are watching this on the YouTube side, I see the thing lighting up in the right-hand corner, and I'm sure they're going to be fighting each other in the chat, but I'll see it in a second. So for those that are tuning in on YouTube, if you ever want to find my Twitch, damn, 3 already. Never mind. For those that are tuning in on the YouTube side and want to find my Twitch channel, you can find it over there. Search for EVO as E for Echo, V for Victor, O for Oscar. Yes, I'm former military, so I know the phonetic alphabet. 325 at, well, never mind. It's just EVO 325 on Twitch. And those that are viewing through Twitch, you can find me on YouTube at DJ81. You can search for Derek Jordan. I'm sure there's like plenty of them on there. But if you notice the logo on the top right-hand corner of your screen, you find that logo, you found me. You can also do the same. Well, not necessarily the same, but you can also find me on Twitter, DJ81. And for any articles and a full playlist of what the fuck just happened, that's linked to my YouTube playlist. You can find it here at www.dj81.org. You can just put in dj81.org. It will pop up. And just to also let you guys know that I am one of 3 featured panelists on the show First and Frame Rates, which goes live every Tuesday and Thursday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's myself, VF. Right now, it's currently myself and VF because Bills is away for the moment. And we usually talk about sports and sports gaming. So we're uncensored and we tend to roast each other almost every time. And as of currently, I've been on a hot streak handing out L's to VF and anybody in the chat. Yes, I'm on a hot streak. So try to stop me. Don't try it. I had the high ground. So hopefully Obi-Wan was watching. He'll know what I was talking about. And if you want to And for those that are listening, if you want to donate, and that is your choice, it's greatly appreciated. I have a PayPal and Zelle, and the email address for that is evo325@gmail.com. So those that want to, and again, you don't have to. If you want to, if you have PayPal or Zelle, the email address is evo325@gmail.com. Well, now that that's out the way, let's check back in on chat real quick, see if anybody hasn't died yet. Let's see what's going on. See what. So this is a one-sided battle that's going on here in the chat between Bills and Young Noble. Apparently, Young Noble's chicken doesn't want to go up against Bills because we know the smoke is going to fade out Young Noble. But let's see what's going on right here. So at first they were cordial. Bills is like living the dream, talking to Young Noble. Young Noble with the shot, the COVID dream. Bills is like the music dream. I don't know where 1 or 2 comes in. What the hell is this? It's like a symbol and a small man in red running. Is that supposed to mean Noble's running from the cops again? As far as I know. And then Young Noble's, he says, I'm going to donate $1 so you can invest in some new mama jokes. All right, whatever. You lucky that I don't often do yo mama jokes. So you can have that. So, oh boy, here we go. All right, let's sidestep this for a second, because all that smoke in the chat between these two is going to take up the whole rest of the show. And we're already like 12, almost 13 minutes in. So once again, I have to ask the question, and I always ask this question. Everyone is used to this question. Why are we here? Why am I here? Why are we even doing a podcast every Wednesday? Well, we have things to talk about. And first thing that I want to talk about, it's kind of like, it was interesting because and we kind of seen example of that go on in the chat between these two. And, Noble likes to come in and, think he runs things. We're going to talk about male personality types. They say there's 6, but Noble just invented a new one called hoe personality trait. So all I know, somehow hoes make it into the ranks of our personality traits. So what we're going to do is I'm going to share this screen. Hopefully I don't disappear. And I'm going to just pull it out real quick. That's what she said. That's what I said to your mom. Psych, I'm just kidding. That was corny as fuck. But anyway, always willing to risk certain things. So again, I'm going to just go ahead and share this screen that highlights personality types. Oh, and for those that don't know, I suffered a concussion this past Sunday. So if I'm a little off, that's why. But don't try me. Usually that means that my wall is down and you don't know what's going to fly out. So, all right. So they say there are 6 personality types. Now, I found this article. This is done by Brandon Gale, or however you want to pronounce his name. This article came out September 7th, 2020. On Brandon Gale, it looks like it's his own site too, because it has all this advertisement and stuff like that. So it says there are 6 male personality traits. There's alphas, betas, gammas, omegas, deltas, and sigmas. Sounds like a good fraternity sorority battle, but it's it is true. This is what we see now these days, especially on Twitter. I think on Twitter, it feels like everyone's I'm about to say beta. Everyone's an alpha. Everyone puts themselves out there to be an alpha. And Newsflash. You may not be an alpha. You may not be a beta either. I know what I am, and we'll talk about that later. But for those that are in the chat, what do you consider yourself? Oh boy. I'll get to highlighting the chats in a little bit, but unless you answer the question, what personality trait do you consider yourself as? Do you consider yourself as alpha? I'm just talking about the main two because those are the main two that everyone's quite familiar with because they make it clear that they're either one or they make it clear that they deny that they're the other. So talk about, oh boy, this stuff's starting to click out. Okay, so we're going to start with the main contents of being an alpha male. So he is confident. So just means that he's sure of himself. He's just, he doesn't second guess and pretty much comes in a room. You feel like he gets the attention of everybody in the room. He's outgoing. That means he's not always like staying to himself or always going out to the parties, going out to bars, stuff like that. And he is a leader. So he's usually the one in control, making decisions, has no problem doing so. And he's charismatic. So he knows how to talk to people. Well, he knows how to talk to people, but how to really talk to people, he may not have that trait. So, and the little details you can probably read below. But one thing about charismatic, I'm going to read this part right here. It says, charisma is a trait that an alpha male exudes with nearly everything he does. Charisma is a sense of charm and swagger of a man whom everyone wants to know. Charismatic men act like a James Bond type as they act and talk according to their own rules. So those were the four main traits of alpha male. Like I said, I'm going by this real quick because I'm trying not to be here too long or be on this topic too long. Then you have your beta males, the ones that people do not want to admit that they are, but out of, let's see, there's a lot of people who deny being a beta male. But okay, so beta males are considered friendly, reserved, submissive, and most likely loyal. Loyalty, honestly, should be a trait for everyone, but not everyone looks at loyalty the same. So we're gonna look at loyal because pretty much the first three are self-explanatory, but loyalty, like I said, can be looked at differently. So the thing here that says that the last trait for the beta male, and one of his biggest strengths, is that he is very loyal. One reason why the beta male is a very good friend is because he is loyal to those who respect him and are friendly towards him. Just like pets. So, and that's how actually alpha males view betas. They view betas. Most alphas view betas as pets. If you really in the overall scheme of things, that's what alphas consider about betas. So, and then the secondary thing it says about loyalty, it says the loyalty of beta males also makes them great employees because they are very likely to do their jobs and not interrupt the overall workflow structure. Yeah, I had trouble with that. I could be loyal, but the moment something doesn't feel right, I start asking questions. But that's not me. Now, since everybody's mostly familiar with alphas and betas, that's really what I'm gonna go over here. I'm like, obviously there's gamma males, there's omegas, but we're gonna talk about the one that obviously you have deltas, but the one that I have discovered myself to be is this right here, the sigma male. Yes, I am a sigma if I've ever discovered such. And if you call me a liar, fuck you. All right. That's them's the rules. I'm a Sigma. Go fuck yourself. So, first rule of being a Sigma is being cunning. So it says you should be cautious around us as we can just as easily convince you of something that no one else could. That's what they're saying Deshaun Watson is doing, apparently. But let's see. They don't share the presence or power of an alpha male, but they can just as easily get their way thanks to their immense cunning and ability to manipulate people and situations. Yeah, that could be me. I'm being transparent here, so those that know me, they know this to be true. I don't. Just to let you guys know, it's not in a bad way. It's always for the greater good, even if you don't think so. So, okay, so he is self-confident. You can kind of hear that in my voice a little bit. Also dealing with a concussion, that tends to happen. Being self-confident is self-explanatory. Don't need to go into that. He is likable. Yeah, I know most of you guys like me. Some of you guys don't care. That's your problem. A little blip it says on here. It says these type of men are often going to associate with the alpha and omega personalities, as they can all get along at the top in their own ways. The likability and cunning actions of the Sigma male are enough to often get him in whatever friend group or situation he wants to be. That's how I was in high school. I knew everybody. I was friends with everybody. I could be in anyone's group, but I wasn't a part of anyone's group. The beauty of going through high school as a quiet kid that played sports that no one really recognized until, the championship came up and I catch the game winning touchdown pass, or when other stuff happens. And the fourth one is that he is calculated. Yes, we are calculated. We don't just waste our time. We think things through before we do it. So the blurb about this, it says the final piece of the Sigma male puzzle. Yes, we are puzzles. Don't try to think you can figure us out in one piece. It takes a while. So it says, is his ability to make calculated moves and decisions with great, emphasize the word great, accuracy. He will often pause before reacting to questions. You've probably seen that. So that he can come up with a reason that is either well-spoken or funny if the situation calls for it. Yeah, like I held off on Noble earlier because he'll get his eventually. Tell me I need better mama jokes. Anyway, he's intentional with everything he does, and very little will catch a Sigma male off guard. People will often find a Sigma male to be more intelligent and funny man, as he is witty with what he says and rarely speaks without thinking to help increase his overall likability. There's the concussion, slurring my words. So let me go to the chat because I know you guys have been talking. I know hopefully you guys have been going back and forth, and I am going to stop sharing this screen because I don't know what was going on. It was just blipping back and forth. I don't want shit to just go left because the freaking banner is acting stupid. So hide that and let's see what's going on in the chat. So Young Noble is like, love you too, DJ. No, fuck you, son. So, okay, we got Doug Thomas in the chat. Hey, thank you for stopping by. I see Subliminary Sports is in here too. I see Doug Thomas is known as Villain in Black. He says that was the same for me in high school. And that was in reference to how we could get along, like how us as kids in high school, how we was able to go from group to group and how it made for a smooth experience during high school. Could be in everybody's group, but be a part of none, be a group of their own, and still make it out just fine. Let me see. Okay, like I said, I did a shout out to Subliminary Sports. He's like DJ, so thank you for being here. I'm really catching up. We got a Pelican Man sighting from Bills. Talking about Pelican Man is a bitch. Is that what Bills? You calling Pelican Man a bitch? Hopefully, he probably doesn't even subscribe to my channel on YouTube, so he probably not even going to see this. So, and why is Noble called? Noble, you're gonna have to refresh my memory. Who are you calling a liar? Are you speaking to yourself? Because I know you have to be. Let me see. So Noble is asking how's the see. We got some people talking about the subject, and we got some people talking about other shit. Come on, let's stay on topic, fellas. Let's stay on topic, especially young Noble. He's used to running away from the police in a town called Chicago. So, all right, it's enough of that fake ass comedy. See what else is going on here. Okay, so Bills is making it clear. He said when you introduced the topic of betas, I said Pelican Man. And I was just like, I also introduced the personality type of being a hoe. You did about Noble, and I'm saying that the same about Pelican Man. Goddamn hoe. But anyway, so it's great that you guys were conversating in the chat. So we can actually break in. Question real quick. I know with the game that's going on in the background, is anyone watching the Wizards and Golden State tonight? Just to let you guys know, next week, the Wizards and the Lakers are going to play in a nationally televised game on ESPN at 7:30. So, and apparently they're going to be facing the AD because I think he'll be back sometime this week. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so I'm going to make a serious right-hand turn here, and we're going to talk about our next subject, and that is again, any more questions before I move on? Because I don't want to get into the next subject and then people are just still talking about the last section, or people are still talking about other things. Noble being a hoe and the last remaining member of the team that was wiped out on Halo. All right, nothing? Let me see. Okay, Bills looks like AD is coming back for tomorrow. So AD, who plays power forward and sometimes center for the Los Angeles Lakers. And the Wizards are also, I think they're looking to sweep the Lakers, or did they lose to the Lakers out there west? I think they beat the Lakers. So we'll see. Young Noble can take that middle finger and shove it up his own ass. He may like it. Make sure Pelican Man is done back there first before you do it. So we are going to take a serious turn, and we are going to talk about the Derek Chauvin verdict that came out yesterday. And I have my notes because there's a lot to talk about here. So in regards to Derek Chauvin, the verdict read, and let me go back here so I'm always I'm sorry I had to laugh, but anyway, so the verdict read, because Derek Chauvin, like I referenced earlier, is the police officer accused of killing George Floyd. That was during an arrest. This was sometime last year when it occurred, where Chauvin had his knee on George Floyd's neck for almost about 9 minutes, pretty much crushing his larynx and killing him. Not instantly, but he complained openly that he couldn't breathe, talking about George Floyd. And Derek Chauvin ignored all this and continued to apply pressure. So he ultimately fell unconscious and was pronounced dead at the hospital. So the charges that were placed on Derek Chauvin were second-degree murder, second and third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter, in which he was found guilty on all counts. Now, it's a victory because this is really one of the first times. There's probably been other times, but not with these type of charges. It's one of the first times that in a case of a wrongful death by hands of a police officer, that justice has prevailed. Like, we had the whole process, the indictment, the charges, the trial, and a just decision. So this is completely different than what happened. Well, I grew up with Rodney King. So when the cops were tried for that, they were found not guilty. So when that was done, that's when you had the LA riots. You had Southern Cal was up in flames. And we still get these questions to this day. Why are we burning our own shit? Well, it's because when you get pissed off to a certain point, you get pissed off, and use the Robin Harris term. We get pissed off to the highest point of pistivity. You start to take shit out on property, people, and stuff like that. You start burning shit. I'm like, you got crazed ex-girlfriends that are so betrayed by, their cheating man or vice versa, that they do shit. They burn shit. Lisa Left Eye Lopez, rest in peace, burned down Andre Rison's house because she was mad, probably over just the lack of attention. But they were about to get married, and she passed away, unfortunately. So coming from the Rodney King generation into now the George Floyd generation, we finally got to see justice. So that was good news. Now, obviously, the public reaction is more of celebratory. There was no, I'm like, people were chanting in the streets. They were cheering. It kind of reminded me of the scene at the end of Return of the Jedi, Star Wars Return of the Jedi, with the Ewoks and everything. I'm sorry, I made that reference about Ewoks. They're kind of the same color. But that everyone was happy. Everybody is in peace and harmony. They want to, this is the start of a new trend. Hopefully it continues. And I'm there with y'all. I think this could be a start or something. But my personal reaction was more or less, you got one. Obviously, there's 3 more cops that were involved, because there was actually 4 cops that were holding down George Floyd. The others weren't in a more, they were more or less accomplices, so their charges are going to be less. But my whole point, and I posted this up on Twitter, it was actually a meme that I saved the image of Raiden from the first Mortal Kombat movie. If those that have seen the Mortal Kombat movie, the first Mortal Kombat movie, Liu Kang, Sonya Blade, and Johnny Cage are fighting in the temple, and they take out a few of the temple guards. And then Raiden comes in and he starts clapping. He's like, that's great. That's great. What about them over there? And there's more of them. So that's my personal view, is that you got one. What are you going to do about the rest of them over there? What are you going to do about the rest of them that hide behind, not having body cameras on, not having witness accounts through cameras, cell phones? Because we've had before camera witness, video of cops in wrongful shootings and resulting in the death, mostly of Black men. And unfortunately, some of it goes indictment and then nothing. It gets dismissed, or not an indictment, which happened. I think I forgot the kid's name, but what started this whole thing in the first place, I believe I think it was down in Louisiana, but yeah. But here's something I definitely want to bring up, because obviously with results like this, politicians are going to take advantage, and the huge swing and a miss, this is a big fucking miss, goes to Nancy Pelosi. Try to tell everybody you can't trust this. You can't trust her. She should not even be in government anymore. She shouldn't be out there speaking for anybody. But you guys continue to allow her to speak, And I watched on Facebook as most of the people that I've battled over my own party were crickets. Were just like crickets. They were just, it was just quiet. They were also quiet as a church mouse after Nancy Pelosi said what she said. And she basically was thanking George Floyd for sacrificing his life for justice. Now, I served in the military. There are people who have served during the war zone in their military careers. George Floyd did not jump on no grenade to save his unit. He was murdered. He didn't ask to do it. He didn't volunteer to do this shit. Nancy, the fuck are you talking about? Thank you for sacrifice. He didn't choose this. He didn't just sit in his room one day and talk about, well, if I act up just out of nowhere and I get the cops to just, wrestle me on the ground, I start complaining about the fact that I can't breathe, and I allow Derek Chauvin to place his knee on my neck and crush my larynx to where I can't breathe and pass out to a coma, that somehow I will bring about justice and people will thank me for it. That is not what he was thinking when he was getting placed in trying to get placed in a squad car because he was under influence or whatever. And when he was placed on the ground with Derek Chauvin's knee in the back of his neck, crushing his larynx. He was calling for his mother. He wasn't asking to be thanked to be murdered. The fuck are you talking about? God damn. And that was really the reaction from folks that I saw on Twitter. When I searched it up, you had comments that were like, he didn't do this. He didn't volunteer to be murdered. Come on. He didn't throw himself under Derek Chauvin's knee to bring about justice. No. That's not how it's done. And it seems like it kind of leads to there's a rabbit hole when it comes to stuff like this. I feel like as a black man, in order to get some recognition or respect, if we're not playing basketball or singing or acting, is that we have to die in order to get some. We don't get taken seriously until that happens. And you see it. And you see it when artists die. You see it when regular black males die. We die, and then all of a sudden we're put up on a pedestal. I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, y'all didn't give a shit about us while we were here, and now that we're dead, now you want to just thank us because we somehow volunteered to die in the name of justice? Fuck you. Jesus Christ. Man, I'm sorry for the rant, but you feel some type of way when you are constantly, shown as the predator, the perpetrator. And you look at what's going on with Deshaun Watson. You look at the mistaken identity that was done with Aaron Donald, being accused of assaulting a guy when he was there to save his life. Other black men doing it to us as well. You have black women that do it to us, and then you have the rest of society that does it to us. And I feel like the rest of society is learning to do that to us because that's what others do to us within here, like those foreigners, like people overseas, people in the Far East, in Europe, Australia, and all the other places. They learn how to treat black people, and they learn how to treat black men, especially because they see the news that portrays us a certain way. So that, Nancy Pelosi can kiss my ass as far as that statement. And, I felt she deserves an ass whooping for that statement. But who else deserves an ass whooping? For all the people behind her that didn't check her ass the moment she said it. They sat there and just was like, yeah, tell them. Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Y'all just gonna let this bitch just sit there and just say that? That is crazy. And I have friends on Facebook, quiet as church mouse. Nobody's saying a goddamn thing about Nancy Pelosi. Some of them, most of them are black. that's the other part, is that's and overall that is the long-term effect of slavery. It's the long-term effect of slavery. It's like, us as black men, we die, and no one gives a shit about us until we die. So and then people can talk shit about us and say we did something when I'm like, George Floyd, when Nancy Pelosi was saying what she was saying, I'm sure he was looking down. It's like, no, the fuck I didn't, bitch. I didn't ask to die. I was trying to get some smokes, not get smoked. Oh boy, I swear. And remember, I came out of the Rodney King generation, and we all had jokes. And yes, I partook in the jokes about Rodney King, but it kind of, when I look back at it, black men have been people have been taking pot shots at black men until they die. And then once they died, then all of a sudden, like Rodney King passed away, then everybody was like, oh, Rodney King, he was I'm like, no, you didn't. You weren't saying that shit when he was getting beat up by 4 LAPD cops and you let him walk. That's why we cheered when OJ got off. It wasn't because he was actually innocent. It was because it was revenge. We were even, apparently. So, yeah. So that was, and then we had something else pop off, and it was in relation to, Derek Chauvin. And we had a shooting in Columbus, Ohio. It was a police shooting. And this one, wow. I actually seen the body cam footage of this. This was, let's see. I think the girl's name, it was a teenager, 16-year-old teenager by the name of Micaiah Bryant. Hopefully I said the last name right. I know her first name was Micaiah. Was shot and killed by a police officer in the middle of a fight that was happening. Now, the way I was introduced to this event was the fact that the cop rolled up and started shooting instantly. Didn't ask any questions, didn't do anything of that nature. I didn't say anything about it because I've learned to hold off until I see footage. I got to see the body cam footage, and that's not what happened. So what happened, according to the body cam footage, is that it looked like he pulled up, sat in the car for a little bit, got out. There were 2 girls, women, I don't know the ages of the women, were approaching him, or he was walking towards them. He was asking them, what's going on? What's going on? Nobody was telling him anything. That's one of the things about black people. We don't like to talk to the cops. So that's kind of like our thing for some reason. So he rolls up, and a fight, I guess the fight was happening before he got there. Apparently, it continued and sprawled out in front of him. So he automatically pulls out his gun because he don't know what's coming next. And, he's got the gun pointed, and the guy looked like he was kicking either male or female. I don't know who that was on the ground, but had backed off. And he's like pointing the gun, and he sees this other woman go after this woman in pink. And he's like, don't do it. Don't do it. I don't know if I don't remember exactly if he said don't do it, because the audio was on, so you could hear what was going on. But apparently the girl went to swing, and the guy saw the knife, and he was like, I don't think he said put the knife here. I think he saw the knife and may have reacted to it. He may have given like a quick command beforehand, but it was so quick. It happened so fast. And before she could stab, because she was going to kill the girl in pink or red or whatever, she was going to kill her or really do some damage. And he shot the girl 4 times. When she fell to the ground, she dropped the knife out of her hand. So this is different than the other shootings that we've seen happen of unarmed citizens and black men and black women and stuff like that. This is different because if he doesn't shoot, there are a lot of people there trying to say, why didn't he pull out the taser? Why didn't he just try to like grab them and tackle them and whatnot? First of all, if I was a police officer, I'm not tackling anybody with a knife. I'm gonna tell you the pinpoint blank. I am not tackling anybody with a knife that has a knife on them, because I tackle them, I'm getting stabbed up, or possibly getting stabbed. Somebody's gonna get stabbed up. That's what I think is gonna happen. If he just stands there and uses the taser, when you have that much adrenaline running, a lot of times the taser may not work. You can tase somebody, but they can eat the taser and keep going. She could have still stabbed the person, or if he did nothing and just stood back. Girl gets stabbed, possibly dies. Then we got another situation where he can't win. That police officer was in a situation where he wasn't going. No. Overall, the situation, no one's going to win, but he's in a situation where there's nothing really not much else he could have done. He saved, Bill said it. Oh, Young Noble said it. He saved one and wound up killing one in the process. Sometimes police officers are faced with that decision, and it's like you can't save them both. There is a situation where that happens, where you can't save both lives. Some people looking at it and trying to look at it, they look at it in a slower motion, like, well, yeah, he could have saved him. All he had to do was tase him, fire a shot in the air. That usually disperses. I'm like, you don't know that 100% sure. I'm like, you see that shit happen in the movies. Yeah, people are like, oh my God, he shot. No, that may not happen in real life. I'm like, and the way that scene played out, it looked like he didn't care the police was there. I'm like, the police officer's partner was shocked that this happened, but so would anybody. I'm like, the case last week that I talked about, that officer was shocked that his partner, even though she had a taser, even though she thought she had a taser, had her actual gun out and shot the kid and killed him. He was shocked then too. I mean, you could be shocked over anything, so don't use the fact that the police officer was shocked as a reason to believe that this wasn't justified. And what's going to happen is that shooting is going to be ruled justified. You got people who are listening to this, people who are watching live. You're not going to like it, but it's going to be ruled justified. He may be suspended with pay because they have to investigate the shooting. But looking at the camera footage, the loss of life is terrible, but it's going to be justified because she had a knife and was about to stab, possibly kill the person she was going after. And I know that I heard situations, I read where it said that this was her house, and the girls were there to jump her. And she was defending herself, but according to that footage, she wasn't defending. When you're moving forward and about to thrust a knife in somebody, that's you in attack mode. Usually when you're a defense, you're either off somewhere like cowering away or backing away or whatever. I'm like, she was at her home. She could have stayed in the house. A lot of times in those situations, we don't admit what we could have done differently in that situation. But either way, the situation played out the way it played out, and the way it's going to end up is that the shooting is going to be justified, and people are going to be mad. But really, there's not much you can be mad at because evidence clearly shows she had a knife. I saw that thing flash in the body camera. I probably would have shot her too. And some people, they're going to hate me for saying that. You're probably going to unfriend me. Do whatever you feel is necessary, but just let you know that my logical response is the reason why your emotional reaction happens. That's the way it is. That's the way it has to be. So, it's unfortunate. And let me get to the chat because I spent 2 weeks going into serious subjects, and I tend to just look away from the chat real quick. So Young Noble is saying that they're investigating the whole police unit. Yeah, I did hear that. I think they've been investigating that unit for quite some time. And who else they should investigate? Amy Klobuchar, because I said this in a previous episode that they need to investigate her, because the reason why Derek Chauvin was still on the force is because she wasn't willing to prosecute, because he was involved, I think, in a police shooting a year before he ran to George Floyd. She refused to prosecute. So they really need to, talk to her and see what's going on with her, because if she prosecutes, maybe he's off the street. Maybe George Floyd is alive and we don't have this shit. But, that kind of explains why she was all nervous and whatever when she was going through her presidential run. Had skeletons in the closet. So let's see what else got here. Let's see. Okay, so Doug Thomas, Villain in Black, he asks, what did you think about Mark Davis's tweet? Another brain dead statement, very much a brain dead statement. And he doubled down on it. He said, I'm not going to delete it. So, yeah, fuck him and the Raiders. And VF, if you're still with your Raiders franchise and Madden, delete it. I urge you to delete that. Don't play with the Raiders no more. I told you, you shouldn't be playing with the Raiders in the first place. No, this is not beer. This is Zoe. Let's go. And yes, I'm bad with the advertising, but yeah, I've been drinking this as of late. This has been very good. Company owned by Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. Got the pineapple coconut going. All right. To Young Noble's like, DJ a savage day. You goddamn right. Nancy Pelosi just said some. Remember, she did the whole kneeling, her and several others with the African guard last summer. That was some bullshit. Nobody, like, some people checked her, but not a lot of people checked her. I know Baron Davis was pissed off at her statement yesterday. Baron Davis spared no words. Let's see what else we got. Young Noble is like, everybody shows love when you die, but shit on you when you're alive. That's how it is. Yeah, you hate to see it, but let me see. Let me catch up. See, Villain in Black, Doug Thomas says, okay, I'm a Raiders fan. Can't stop because Davis is an idiot. Well, there'll be 2 generations of Davis that you've gone through that have been idiots. So maybe you like your team to be ran by idiots. That's probably why y'all haven't won a Super Bowl. Damn, I wasn't alive the last time you guys won a Super Bowl. Oh, no. You know what? I was. I'm sorry, because you blew out the Washington Redskins in that Super Bowl. That was Marcus Allen, and the whole when the sun went down, that's when the Raiders came up. But after that, y'all got blown out in the last Super Bowl. Y'all went in getting beat senseless by Tampa. But I digress. Yeah, Subliminary, yeah. He doubled down. Fuck him. Okay, Young Noble is like, oh, the dirt gonna come out on a lot of them crooked motherfuckers. Yeah, that is going to happen. And you know who we need to get them out? The really, we're asking good cops to snitch on bad cops, but that's what's gonna have to happen. I'm like, they need to. I'm like, I believe that 85% of the police officers that serve in whatever jurisdiction they serve in are good cops. There's 15% that need to just go to hell. That's really Let me see. And there's Antonio. Hey, what's up? Sorry, I'm getting to you late. I'm like getting everybody's chat after just going through because I found out that the formula that I'm good with is getting through the meat and potatoes of the subject and then responding to comments thereafter. So preliminaries like we need a break from social media. God. I wrote a paper about the effects of the social media on communication gaps in political discussions. And guess who my number one endorser of that, even though it was indirect? Former President Barack Obama. Yes, he confirmed a lot of things I had said in that capstone project. So there you go. Probably the best affirmation I got from that paper because my teacher for that paper gave me a C. No, she gave me a D, like a high D. Like she gave me like a 68 on it. I wound up passing the course with a C. But yeah, when the president at the time, because I graduated when I graduated in 2017, so Trump was president, but Barack Obama had already said that. So it's just nice for that teacher. I don't know if they were paying attention. She may have been conservative. Get a nice little FU from Obama about my paper. But anyway, let me see. What else is going on? What else y'all got for me in the chat? Preliminary of his routine. Come on, man. We supposed to be brothers. So, and I thought you said you were supposed to be correcting your spelling. What's going on? Come on, man. We supposed to. What happened to the B? Ah, boy. Young Noble is like, in Chicago, these motherfuckers are throwing each other under the bus now. That's the way it has to be. Unfortunately, they have to eat each other in order to come up with a solution. So creative people can't spell. Likely excuse. All right. So anybody else? I know you guys went through and talked about your responses. Anybody else got anything as far as the Derek Chauvin verdict? Do you feel that we will get more verdicts like this? Like we'll actually get a full played out process from this in other circumstances, or we're going to still get the same thing and we're going to get the whole we're going to be it's going to be more like lip service, like, oh, we got one for you, you guys can back off now type of situation. Because I feel like we're going to get that. I feel like we're going to get a situation where it's like, okay, you got it, now back off, and then business as usual. Because just like everyone's attention span, it moves on to something else. Let's see. Preliminary said it all depends, and Bills, he said it just in relation to preliminary, talking about he can't spell, talking about I'm creative. Bills is like, I'm creative and I can spell just fine. Yeah, and again, shout out to Bills for getting his spoof song put on the Jim Cornette podcast, the drive-through podcast. I believe it was episode, Bills, correct me if I'm wrong, episode 188, correct? I'm like, his song was a hit. It's getting rave reviews, is blowing up on social media, not the song, but the compliments, the praise, even coming from tweets from Jim Cornette and his co-host who actually tweeted at him, nice job. So, go check my boy Bills out. And, just out of all transparency, he called it. And he was determined to make this happen, and it happened. And, Jim Cornette's reaction to that song was pretty much like my reaction initially. But let's see. What's the song? Can you put in the chat? He doesn't have a title to it. You have to actually tune into the podcast. It's the Jim Cornette Drive-Through Podcast, episode 188. And you have to go to, when you get to the podcast, if you don't want to listen to the whole podcast, if you're on Spotify or any of the podcast links, you pretty much can go all the way to where there's like 8 minutes left, like 10 minutes left, because there's 3 songs that are played. It's like part of they usually get to the end of their show with a song contest. And usually they play about 3 songs. And they played a couple songs before that. The first one was okay. The second one was kind of whatever, iffy. But Bill's song is the last one that's played, and you can have at it. So around, just the last 10 minutes of the podcast is what you can skip to. So, congratulations to Bills, and he says thanks for the shout out, man. So we're all cheering for you. Can lead to bigger and greater things. And also just to let everybody know, like I said, this was the work of a determined individual to get his career going. So hopefully we'll start to hear some of these songs when they start getting released, whenever they get released. Like when Stewie's talking to the dog, and it's like, like that book that you've been writing on, that you say you was on the last page, and on the second page of last chapter that you were on, that you say was going to finish about 2 weeks ago, that hasn't been finished in the last 3 weeks, and you've been sitting on this word for, it's like, I was just kidding. But anyway, look at this. Look at all this praise. Antonio's like, congrats, Young Noble. That's what's up, Bills. Bills taking in all the praise, just like he was on Twitter. So so that's one for the good guys, because you know what it is. You know what it's about. So for those that are listening and threw up the NWO sign for life or Wolfpack, it just depends. I think Bills would create his own, call it the Wolfpack. Anyway, now we do have a third subject here. I know we hit our hour mark, but we have to talk about this. We have to talk about this. We have some fuckery. Apparently, this brand of foolishness has been rumored, and it's kind of a part of the expose culture, where people just can't leave well alone and just want to upend people's success, even though some of the stuff that has been found out to be legit. But in this case, we have 2 instances in the last few days. We had a 2-hour reading of all the text messages and IMs and DMs and stuff like that of EDP thinking he was talking to a 13-year-old girl. That's right. This man is sick in the head. Let me see. Messages that were sent to this 13-year-old included lewd pics, him performing lewd acts on video in the DMs, nasty talk, and a proposed meeting, fantasies, BDM fantasies, all this type of stuff being exchanged with who he thought and knew damn well was 13 years old. That is sick. But there was a 2-hour reading of that. But no, there was more. There was an hour-long video that was just released yesterday. And on YouTube, just look up the person, Chet Goldstein, which there's a rabbit hole issue with him and the person that did the 2-hour video. But I'm not going down that rat hole. I call it a rat hole. I know normally it's called a rabbit hole, but that's a rat hole. right there. So this video that's on Chet Goldstein's channel is about an hour long, and basically is the video where they catch EDP, and it was a sting operation from the beginning. So technically, a crime has not been committed, but the fact that he didn't care that the person he was talking to was 13 is yeah, sus is an understatement here. So notable quotes from this video. Now they do pull up on him. I think he was walking up to the address. They pull up on him to Catch a Predator style, and they're questioning him. They have all the notes, they have all the evidence and the messages. They're going through all these messages one by one, and he admits to all of it. He, like, no shame, no hesitation, no nothing. Notable quotes that popped up in here were, let's see. At one point, the camera kind of pans to is on his left, but then as they're questioning him, he looks at the camera, kind of is like, "Hey, I'm no pedo." Like, he looks at the camera, like something like that has me think this whole thing, not just it being a sting operation, this being fake, like from start to finish. Because what I noticed in this dude's past videos is that he has these conversations with people, and they're not like, they're not like to the point serious conversations. He's like joking, laughing, jokes. Matter of fact, throughout this whole video, this man was taking pot shots at ADP, basically fat shaming him throughout the whole thing. Dude is rather large individual that rolls that rolls wherever he goes. He doesn't really walk anywhere. It looked like he shouldn't be standing for a long period of time. I thought this man was on an exercise program. Apparently, he ditched that along with any exercise program he could have been on. But and another quote that popped up was the reasoning why he tried to use as the Wizards are closing in on this game. They're actually down by 5. It's 98-93 Golden State. Golden State did pull ahead in usual fashion. Wizards are not playing defense. But, okay, so EDP, they asked him, "Why are you here? We know you," or like, it's a rhetorical question. It was like, "Look, we know you're here to see a 13-year-old girl. What were you planning to do?" He looks at them and he's like, "Y'all not going to believe me, but I actually came here to get some cupcakes and I was going to go home." Cupcakes, my nigga? Really? You? And it's funny because if we've seen To Catch a Predator with Chris Hansen, we've heard all the excuses. "Oh, I just came here for some pizza. Oh, I came here just to drink. Oh, I came here to make sure she was safe. I was just here looking after her. Oh, all we want to do is watch TV." Nobody, like maybe one or two people will admit that, yeah, we're going to do everything I said I was going to do. But yeah, it's just, when he said that, I like, and obviously this was a premiere video, so we had a live chat going on at the same time. And I'm looking through the chat, and it gets to when he says, "I came here to get a cupcake," that chat was going a mile a minute, laughing and just like, "Nigga, what? Cupcake?" But you know what the sad thing is about this is that you literally could use the word cupcake to code that you're going to see an underage girl. That's what I got from that, was a new code word. So if you ever hear anybody talk about cupcakes, please address what they mean. I'm serious. It's my like outside the box thinking here, but I'm sure cupcake or some type of like thing of that nature is being used as code somewhere. So anybody talks about cupcakes of any kind, question them, see what they really mean, because They could be telling you something and you not know it. Just saying. So this will eventually end EDP's online career. Probably not. Because by the end of the video, he's squirming, looks like he's about to cry. He's begging them not to call the police, in which they do call the police, which I already knew he had not been arrested because he had done a video before this video on Chet's page popped up. So I knew he didn't get arrested. He winds up walking away, waddling away, whatever you want to call it, whatever what penguins, fat ass penguins do. Gets into his car. I'm sure a car took on the weight that he was carrying and then some, and struggled off. So you got Bills. He was like, he was going to have some cupcakes. All right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Coded language. Be aware of it. Anybody mentions cupcake around you, ask them what they really mean. You know, they could be like cupcakes and they'd be over at somebody's house. Like, why are you getting cupcakes at somebody's house? What the hell is going on? But yeah, it's you definitely have to check on people and see what they really mean these days, because these dual meanings and these new code words pop up every single day. So see what's going on. I think Golden State's going to wind up winning this game. What do you guys think? Is anybody watching this game? I know I asked this earlier, but is anybody watching this game? It's currently in the fourth quarter, 7 minutes left, 101-93. And was that Curry? No, that's somebody else that just hit a three. It looks like Golden State may run away with this. But, oh boy. So Kabliminary is saying, I'm studying for a spelling test. Uh-oh. Where's the joke coming in? For once, he didn't mean real cupcakes. That was what Bill said in response to Kabliminary. So anybody got any questions? Because at the end of the day, I think there are just a lot of people online that are just undercover sickos. I'm like, the internet is just running rampant with all these weirdos, these psychopaths, sociopaths, lone wolves, beta, alphas, sigmas, Derek Chauvins, and all that type of, and Nancy Pelosi is running all over internet, just giving us fits. So Bill's with a very colorful comment. He says, you had to know that fat fuck wasn't getting any pussy. Well, apparently he claimed he had a girlfriend. I don't know what happened with that. Maybe if he lift a roll in his stomach, he'll find her. Bill's is like, he should have bought a pocket pussy. Well, like I said, he won't need pockets. He can just hide them in one of those rolls. Bill's like, motherfucker down on his obese luck. Oh, shoot. All that weight his knees are carrying, he'll be down on his knees too. Jeez. Feeling it. Doug Thomas responding. And then Bill's again, dude been a clown though. This just adds to it. You can tell he was a weirdo when he was yelling into the camera about Eagles football. You could say that virtually about every Eagles fan, including Pooh. So as far as I'm concerned, all Eagles fans are clowns, weirdos, psychopaths, sociopaths, Nancy Pelosi's, betas, omegas, deltas, hoes, pimps, prostitutes, crackheads, cocaine dealers, gangsters, mobs, mafiosos, murderers, thugs, bugs, all that type of stuff. They're everything you could throw underneath a jail at Veterans Stadium. So Antonio's like, I think I've seen one of his videos. Yeah, it's hard to not notice this guy. All he did was like yell obscenities every time the Eagles would do something stupid, which was all the time. So if for you listeners who are not familiar, my favorite team is the Washington football team. They used to be called the Washington Redskins. You know which team I hate? I hate the Dallas Cowboys the most, but the Eagles are like the second most. Well, they're the let's see. Cowboys fans I hate, but Eagles fans are the most annoying. They won that Super Bowl. You couldn't tell them anything. That one Super Bowl that they won. They've been to 3 Super Bowls, only won one of them hoes. And you know what they did when they celebrated? They ate shit. And then their season died for the next several seasons. But you know, I'm going to do that about all Philly sports because we have this natural rivalry, DC, Philly. You know, anything Philly down here gets shot. So that's the way it works. And in baseball, the Philadelphia Phillies, thought they were getting the next big thing in Bryce Harper. They got the next big thing, which was the check they paid out, the bill that he wanted for his services. And what did Washington get in return? A World Series ring. Imagine that. Bryce Harper leaves, goes to Philly, predicts that the Washington Nationals will win the World Series, and voila, it happens. Thank you, Bryce. And thank you, Phillies, for taking them off their hands. And then in hockey, you have the Flyers who continue to suck. So, and the only good thing about Philly right now, well, not even their football team. Their football team is insufferable. Their basketball team is the only saving grace, and they may get knocked out in the first round. So, have at it. So, let's see. Oh, no, I think he was saying something about, okay. So, Bills is saying they are the opposite of Jake the Snake. They eat shit instead of drink piss. Oh, wow. Yeah. Pretty much Jake the Snake, the noted piss drinker. And then Villain in Black referencing Bryce Harper as the strikeout king. So we kind of gone into a little overtime session. That's what I'm going to start calling these. After I get done these main topics, I'm going to call this the overtime session or whatever. So we just talk about anything and everything. Usually I'll probably run it for about 20 minutes, and which we are at the 18-minute mark. Kind of reminds you of an overtime period in playoff hockey. 20 minutes, you know, sudden death. I don't know why they try to rename sudden death, sudden life. I'm like, no, it's sudden death. If a team scores, the other team dies. Their chances to be in the playoffs diminish by 1. That's the way it works. Them's the rules. But anyway, I would like to thank everybody for coming through tonight. I hope you guys had a good time. Hope you guys come back again next week. I'm sure we're going to have stuff to talk about next week. We always do. It's what the fuck just happened. It always occurs. So let me go through the roll call. So we got Villain in Black, Bills, Antonio, Young Noble. Who else? Did I say Subliminary before? No, I didn't. Subliminary. And I think that's about it. That was the majority of the people that came through. I don't think I see anybody on through YouTube, which is kind of weird. Usually I get a couple of people that chime in from YouTube. Maybe Bills did at first. Nope, he never did. He was on Twitter the whole entire time. So, but anybody that was on YouTube, thank you for stopping by. I can't see you because you didn't say anything. So, oh boy. Noble's like, I'll be back for the insults. Yeah, if you can get your team from the grave. Remember, his team was the team that was wiped out one by one in a Halo Reach game. He's the last surviving member, and he's about to get wiped out too. So, and Bills, lets everybody know, shout out to 2K21 Next Gen. This game is so damn good. Next Gen Sports still receive an L for that price tag. They can't rationalize to me how they want me to pay $70 for a goddamn game that a lot of features they can get on current gen. Should be able to get on current gen, but they nickel and diamond people. But I digress. So again, thank you guys for coming out, and we'll be back here again next week. I'm sure you guys will see me tomorrow on First and Frame Rates, 8 p.m. Not necessarily sharp, but we'll see. And I'm sure we'll have some topics, and we usually come up with topics like right seconds before we even go live. So again, thank you for coming out. You guys take care, be safe, watch your AEW. Antonio says he should be getting the Series S next month. Well, congratulations. And we will, but we y'all don't. Okay. Oh boy. Bills is like, but will y'all see me? Noble's like, y'all be safe. Well, you never know. I know I saw NY Kia in a chat with responding to a chat in one of these podcasts out here where women getting kicked off the the show and whatnot. So we'll see. Other than that, you guys take care, be safe, and take care. Peace.